Hey guys, it's Maymay, and welcome to another Stamping Saturday. Stamping Saturday videos are the day where I kind of play with things that we sell and carry in the store to give you inspiration for things that you've purchased from us. This is something we started carrying recently after I watched Jennifer McGuire use this on a video. I was hooked and thought we need to carry this in our store. This is by Paper Smooches, and it's the Mirror Blocks stamp set, and I'll show you what it's for. Jennifer did a beautiful job explaining this, and because of that, I was able to do it. I used her tutorial, and that's how I learned how to do it. So I'm very grateful for that. So here's what I've done. I've mounted the large block, which is this one that comes at the top here. I've mounted it to my Misti. This is the mini Misti that I'm using today, and we're going to do some reverse stamping. What I have here is the Trixie's Valentine stamp set, and this little puppy dog that's facing in this direction, I want to flip it and so I can have two of them on my card facing each other. By the way, Trixie is a puppy that we used to have, and she passed away in July of last year, and I just love this stamp set. It always reminds me of her when I play with it. Now before we do this, we need to do one thing different with our Misti. We need to take the black pad out for a moment, just set it aside, and not have our grid paper in. I have my grid paper out anyway, so now this is just the Misti bed as it sits. And now I'm going to take a piece of clear acetate. This is just some packaging that I cut a piece out of, and I'm just going to put this in the corner here of the Misti and put my magnets on it to hold it in place. Now I've got the puppy dog from the Trixie's Valentine set, and I'm just going to mount it facing up on this clear acetate. So now it's facing up and facing the block. I'm going to do a little dry run here and make sure that I have it inside the square, and I do. So that puppy dog is inside the square I have mounted to the other side of the Misti. Now for the fun part. Now, I did a lot of trial and error with this, and I got a little disappointed because I couldn't get it to work out well. So I'm going to show you the tips and tricks that I came up with. The first thing is VersaFine Onyx Black ink works amazing for this. I tried my Memento, but it was a little bit pale and a little bit not as juicy as this pad. So this one works great. And the other thing is light coats. Multiple passes, but light coat. So I just did a light, even coat of ink onto the stamp there. And then I'm going to bring the mirror block over and just let those kiss each other. I'm not pressing or smashing or anything. I just want to let those kiss so that the ink from the stamp transfers to the mirror block. Then I'm just going to lift that up, and you'll see the image on this side. Let me put something behind that so you can see it. So if I put this paper behind, you can see it picked up that puppy dog facing the other direction. Now the other thing I want to do is, like I said, several light coats. So I'm going to go back and ink my stamp up again very lightly. I'm not squishing this ink pad down and getting a whole bunch of ink, just very lightly. And I'm going to lightly lay this Trixie stamp back over, or the mirror block stamp back over, and just let them kiss. The trick for me was to not smush it, because when I smushed it, I kind of lost some of the definition on this side. Now, you don't have to do this, but I'm going to. One more light coat because I'm here. I'm going to lay this guy over and pick it up one more time, just letting it kiss, and pick that up. Now we can stamp that reversed image onto some paper. So I'm going to pull out this little guy, and because I'm fixing to use this like a clear stamp, I need to put this pad back in. I'll stick my magnets up there at the top, and I'm going to use a piece of white paper. Now I'm going to be cutting this out in a few minutes, so I'm not too worried about perfect placement on this white paper, because I'm going to trim out around it. This is going to work, so I'm going to lay this down. Now again, less pressure is more with this, okay? So I'm going to press it, but I'm not going to wiggle or move or anything like that. I found that when I kind of went like I usually do, I kind of got a little smearing on the stamp, and I didn't love it. Now the other thing that's probably going to happen, okay, paper's going to stick. I'm not worried about that, because I'm just going to peel this off of the mirror block stamp, and you can see we got a reverse image of our puppy. How cool is that, right? Now I can trim this out and color it. Now I'm taking that same little Trixie stamp set and putting it on the other side, and I need to stamp one going in the regular direction. So I'm going to put a piece of paper down here. This time I am going to put a magnet on, because if I mess up I can do a double stamp. So I'm just going to do that there and ink this guy up with some VersaFine. So this is where we're making two puppies going in different directions. So just bring this over. See how he looks. Oh, I didn't press on his backside very good, so let's do that one again. Just like that. There we go, a good image. All right, I'm going to color these and cut them out. So I'm going to use two Prismacolor pencils, dark umber and dark brown. I'm going to start with the dark brown, and here's these little guys. I'm using color pencils mostly because I did use VersaFine ink, and it can smear with alcohol markers, but you could watercolor these guys too. And I'm not going to do anything fancy. We're just going to get some color on them. Not going to be too particular about not going out of the lines either because I'm going to cut them out. So that won't matter either. So I am no colorist, but I'm going to show you what I'm doing here. I'm taking the darker color, which is the dark umber, and I'm going into the areas where I would want a little bit of shadow and just dropping some of that color in, like at his tummy, because that would be underneath him. Things like that. Again, I'm not worried about getting out of the lines. And if your puppy needs to have spots or anything, you can do that here too. And these are those Prismacolor pencils. I'll put a link to these below. I have loved these. These were sent to me by a subscriber named Rhonda, who is a wonderful friend of mine, and I'm in love with these guys. I'm just putting some dark color here and there where I think I'd like for it to be. Something like that. Let's put a little up here just to give some round at the top of the head. Again, I'm no colorist, okay? I just want to show you this little thing that I have discovered that I really like. Put a little shadow behind that ear. A little more on the tummy. Okay, here's what I love. This is the blender pen, the blender crayon, the colorless blender for the Prismacolor pencils. And I love this. Watch what this does. It smooths out that color pencil so nicely, and it blends those colors together. And this little guy will not look like he's color pencil at all. And this is some Nina cardstock I'm using, by the way, because in case you're wondering. This just really takes those pencil marks and smooths them out and blends those colors together. Now I am being careful not to go over that VersaFine because I have seen in the past that it will smear that VersaFine ink, this colorless blender pencil will. So I'm trying really hard to avoid that. But see the difference in his body and his head? It's just really cool how it works. Isn't he cute? Now, because I can get very sloppy when I color, I'm going to take my white pen and go back into his eye and put some white back where I kind of got out of the lines. So that's just a little trick for fixing that. And then I'm going to put a little dot of white just to make his eyes really wake up. Isn't that cute? All right, there's one. I colored this one earlier. I need to do the white in it as well. Super cute. Okay, let me cut these guys out. And I'm just going to use my scissors, but at this point I could totally run it through my brother's scan and cut. I didn't think about that. I should have done it, but I'm just going to do my scissors real quick. So I also decided to do a little more mirror stamping, and that is with this little toboggan right here. I think these would be super cute on the little puppy dogs. This is from the G's Teddy Bear Lane set, and I think it'll be cute. So put the little toboggan down here, and I've got it held down. I've got my mirror block over here. I'm going to do the same thing again with my VersaFine. So let's put some ink onto the toboggan. So we got that inked up. I'm going to slide that mirror block stamp or sling that mirror block stamp over. I'm going to ink it again. Do it one more time. Bring that back over. And just let that kiss and pick up that ink. I've got a little spot that's not wanting to transfer. Let me try it one more time. That's the beauty of doing it with your Misti. You can keep trying until you get it like you like it. There we go. Got it. All right, so now I'm going to take this guy out. Take my acetate piece out. I'll put this black piece back in. And then bring over another white piece of paper. And I'm just going to stamp this guy onto that paper. And there we go. I have a mirror image little toboggan too. Perfect. Now I just need to stamp one that is not a mirror image. So let's get this set up for that. Now for the front of my card, I'm using this pretty little plaid and a piece of red from the same paper pad. And I think this is so cute. I'm going to have this sit right here. I'm going to do a little dry run of where these guys are going to live. Kind of here and here. And then with their little hats on their heads. So one here, look how cute that is, right? And then one here. But I want to stamp a sentiment across here. So let me see what we're going to add. So from my stamp set Critter Christmas, I'm going to use this one that says Santa Paws. This is all Christmas sayings, all about animals and things like that. So I think this will be cute. I'm going to move these out of the way over here. Bring back over the Misti because I'm going to use some white ink so this will really show up, and I like to use my white ink in the Misti so I can do multiple passes. So I'm going to put this in. Actually, it won't fit that way, so we'll do it this way. Lay this down, and I'll just lay this way. Now, my Santa Paws I cut in half because at one point in time I used it on top of each other instead of running beside each other. But for this card, I want it to go beside each other, so I'm just going to put it back. Now, I've shown you before you can cut your stamps in half. You just have to be brave. So there we go. I got that put back. And I want to slide it down kind of low and then over to the side like that. And now I can pick this up with the Misti and know that those are where I want them. Good deal. Now I'm going to ink that with white ink. I'm going to use this Brutus Monroe Alabaster. This is my favorite white. It's a pigment ink, so it's going to take a little longer to dry, but I love how it looks on cardstock. There's that, and I'll bring this over, set that into place. And like I said, I'm going to do this multiple times just because it's white and I want it to really, really pop. So I'm going to go back again and do it again. There's 2 passes. I'm going to do another one. You really can only do this about 3 or 4 times. You'll start to notice when it's enough, when the paper said, okay, that's all I can handle. You'll start to notice it. Super cute. You can see that on there really well. All right, so now we can put our card together. So I'm starting by gluing this panel to the front of the card. And I think it's going to be a little toward the top. Try to get that as straight as I can. I'll use my cutting mat to help. I get asked about this cutting mat a lot. I want to tell you guys real quick. I found this on Amazon. Just look up Alvin cutting mats and you'll find it just like that. All right, these guys I want to pop up. I want them to have a little bit of dimension, so there'll be some shadow behind them. So I'm going to get out some foam squares for them. So I've pulled the sticky back pieces off of this little guy. He's ready to go down. He's not. I left his little backer pieces on so I can use him to help me line up this guy. And then we'll just match him. So stick him down. Now I'll just pull his little backer pieces off. And now I can put him into place. Now for those of you who don't know, after we lost our Trixie, which that's what this little stamp is made from, we got 2 new weenie dogs, Carly and Lizzie, and this reminds me of them now. That's super cool how I was able to do that. I love it. All right, now these little hats I'm going to glue to the tops, just like this, to their little heads. And I'm going to put a little bit of a foam square behind the top portion of it, and then glue the part that touches the puppy down to the puppy. So that may be confusing the way I just said it. So basically I'm putting a foam square as high up as I can put it. Because I lifted the puppies up, it's going to be lifted as well. Then I'm just going to take some glue and put it along that little rim that's going to touch the puppy itself. Peel that backer off. This is a good place for my craft tweezers. I know, they're tweezers. It's a joke. Okay. And then I'm just going to place his hat on his head. Or her head, whichever one. There's that one. I'll go ahead and peel that off so I don't get my hand in the glue. And then put some glue on there. And then put this guy into place too. Super cute. Now, a couple more finishing touches real quick. I know I need some white stitch lines to bring more white to this page. So I'm going to white stitch this area here and across the bottom. Then I'm going to add a little wink of Stella. I think this needs some glitter on their little hats. Too cute. I know it is so hard to see wink of Stella in the camera, but I can see it in person. I can never get it to pick up on camera. I'm being heavy-handed with it. I want lots of sparkle. All right, we need a card base and an inside sentiment. So I've got a piece of black that I've cut down to an A2 size card base, and I'm going to score that at 5.5, and then fold this over, crease that down. So there's my card base, and I went ahead and cut a white piece for the inside. I'm going to do a little stamping on it too. I'm going to use this big old Merry Christmas sentiment. I'm getting so much use out of this sentiment. I love it. It takes up so much room. It looks beautiful, and I love it. So ink that up and lay this kind of straight. You can certainly use your Misti, and sometimes I do, but I've actually been leaving this Merry Christmas on the block because I've been using it so much. I've just been leaving it mounted to the block and picking it up periodically. So there's that for the inside. So now we can put the card together. So on the outside of the card, this guy's going to go right there. I'm just going to glue him straight down. So there's the front. And then on the inside, it's already open. I'm going to glue this guy straight into place. And there you go, the finished card with the mirror stamping. I think that's super cool how that works out. I am amazed. I'm so glad that Jennifer McGuire showed how to do that on her channel and introduced these stamps, because I would never have known. I think that's awesome that these exist. These are in the store now. Now they sell out pretty quick, but we do get them back as quick as we can, and I just love them. So I hope you guys enjoyed this card, and I hope you try it yourself with your stamp sets at home. Think about this. It basically turns your stamp sets into kind of double what they are, so you kind of get double the use out of them. Good idea. Thanks so much for watching today, guys. I'll see you again next week for more Stampin' Saturday. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.